Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again. If you've been following with the build, you know that we have recently added a Baja Design 30-inch light bar to the truck. This specific one is the S8 Amber version. So, as you can see here, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what she looks like. You might have seen this in the other video. If you want to know exactly how to wire this up and all that, you can go check out that video. It's all in there. But as for this video, we're going to go out. I'm not going to show you in the garage because it's super bright, but lucky for you guys, it is dark outside. So we're going to go find a nice dark area, fire this sucker up, and show you exactly how it works. So let's get at it. All right, now don't mind the bumper gap. I got to fix that still. CBI bumper, not a perfect fit. It does look pretty sweet, but not a perfect fit. So I got to monkey around with that a little bit. But as for this light bar, this is a perfect fit. It looks awesome, it works awesome, and just overall, because everybody knows, especially if you're watching this, you might be looking at some Baja Design stuff for yourself. These are not the cheapest things in the world, but they are definitely worth every penny. Reason number one, now I'm sure on YouTube this all might look similar, but the lens on this thing, especially the amber, you can see, hopefully it shows up well in the video, it is a solid amber. You get that gold honey color with these, whereas some of them on the pictures, it might look like this, but if you see some of the cheaper versions out there in real life, this is more of a yellow. Now, I'll use my fog lights as an example. This is not, this is way cheap compared to super expensive. This is just a tint. This is a tint on the light. So it's a little more hazy than if you were to have an actual lens that was tinted. But color-wise, you can see here, you get the nice clear gold compared to that. The cheaper brands I find are more leaning towards the yellow more than an orange ambery look. So yes, again, this is just a tint, but that kind of shows you like cheap versus something that you'll want to be looking good on the truck. If you're going to spend the money on these things, obviously you want it to look good, and Baja Designs definitely has that in the bag. And now again, with these things, you know probably by now that it does have the backlight feature. So what it is you can either turn this whole thing on in one big go, or you get a kind of a raptor light effect to it. So you can see all the LEDs separate in there and wired up already from these guys is the backlight feature. You can, one, buy the harness, two, they're making an upfitter harness, same type of deal, or three, you can make one like I did. If you want to know how to make it, go check out the video, like I said, where we installed this. But basically, you can control this thing to switch back and forth from Raptor light to the full out light bar here. And this thing definitely gives off a ton of light, because you'll see once we get outside here in a minute just how bright this lights up. Not only straight in front of the truck, but you get kind of two levels beside the truck as well. You'll see that and see what I mean when we get out there. But as for the build quality itself, it's got stainless steel bolts to hold this on. Another nice thing with these guys is, say we're driving and we take a big rock to the front or something and you crack the lens here, or something happens, whatever, you can actually order just the lens from these guys. You can undo all the bolts here. The lens pops off, you put the new lens on. So you don't have to spend, $1,000 on a whole new light bar. You can order them up, tell them which one you got, tell them what lens you need. They'll send it to you. It'll be way, way cheaper than ordering a whole light bar. It'll only take you a couple minutes to swap it out, because you can see all the bolts are right here on the front. You just loosen them up, pop it off, put the new lens on, and you're good to go. So again, if you're maybe a Baja guy, this is Baja Designs. Maybe you're in a bunch of sand and this thing just gets sandblasted all day long and you're starting to think, okay, well the glass is looking a little dull. Maybe I need to change it up a bit. You don't have to worry about breaking the bank again, because you can just physically go, say, hey guys, I need, in this case is a 30-inch light bar. So you got 1, 2, 3 sections. Tell them this is my light bar, need new kit or new lenses for each one. They'll ship them out. Like I said, swap it on, swap it off. Easy peasy, and it'll look like you got a brand new light bar again, because as long as you are the original owner and you haven't chopped up or messed with the wiring harness at all, at least the one attached to this light, you have a 5-year warranty, I believe, or something like 50,000 hours. And basically the hours works out to the warranty of the 5 years anyway. So they're basically telling you that this will run just like it's supposed to for 5 years, and you do not have anything to worry about. So now that you guys seen this, I think I've talked long enough. Let's get outside. We'll go for a little cruise. I'll find a nice dark spot for you guys. We'll fire it up and you can see for yourself just how well this thing works. All right, so in the dark, this is what you get for the daytime running lights. You can see 2 on that side, 2 on this side, 2 on the left side. It doesn't really light up much because it is just a daytime running light. I know this is in the dark, so it's kind of hard to film because these lights are super bright on this truck. You can see it gives you a tiny little orange strip in the middle there. But as for farther down, you don't get much. Alright, now the only way you can turn on the fog lights here are unfortunately to turn on the headlights on this truck. So this just gives you an idea of the difference between your Baja Designs real amber look and then something on the cheaper side, or a straight up tint like we got here on the fog lights. But you can see just how clear that is compared to something that you might be doing in this price range. And now this is what you get with the whole thing on there. Now, of course, the video never shows up as good as your eyes do, but this thing lights up the trees way the heck down there. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see they are way down there. So easily lights it up, and now you can kind of see how this beam is. You get a solid chunk in the middle. It also gives you a little bit out to the passenger and the driver side, and down here as well. Because it is a 30-inch light bar, you get quite a spread on this thing. You can't see it on that side because of this building, but you can get a look at just how bright it is because it lights all the way to the tippy top of this building, all the way up and above the top. So definitely on the super bright side. You don't want to be pointing this at anybody's car that you might be driving towards. And keep in mind, when I installed this, it is pointing slightly downhill as well. So if you were to lift it up, that beam will be further down. It'll light even further down the road, but you can set it up exactly how you want it. But this just gives you an idea. And being in the bumper like it is, you get a nice cutoff in front of your vehicle. Doesn't have any light flooding out anywhere else, and it just shows you how ultra bright this thing actually can be. Alright, a little look from inside the truck. This is your daytime running lights by themselves. These are the LED headlights. The Pro 4X has some awesome lights. This is them. You can see how far down the light goes. Then you get high beams. Again, the white light lights up things a little better than these ambers will, but that's what you get on the truck. So if you put it back to the daytime running lights only, and then you flick it on to the daytime running lights in the light bar, you can see you don't get much. Kind of tell it's on. When I push the button, you can see it light up on the wall there. But as for light, this is more for looks than anything else. But when you hit your light bar itself, you can see just how bright it gets. Everything is lit up. If you're driving in the hills, you'll see everything that's in front of you, everything that's beside you, especially once you get some ditch lights on here as well. It'll be like driving in the daylight, even in the middle of the night like we are right now.